Hi guys, welcome back to the Goose Family channel. Didn't make a video yesterday, sorry about that. I did make a video yesterday and I never posted it because I got a call in the middle of the video. So it got ruined and I don't know how to do technology. So this is going to be the same video but retold and retold better, more focused, more on track. This is a story time about how I had like premonitions and one of them came true. This is back when I was 18. Don't know when that was. But this was back when I was 18 and I had my first, not my first, like my second biggest episode, and I went into the hospital for like a month. Um, I remember having like in my cat naps, because I didn't really take a nap when I was psychotic. I took like cat naps. So I remember when I was taking a cat nap that I would see like little visions of shit, I don't know. But I saw one vision of me walking down the hallway in the hospital and a nurse coming up behind me and stabbing me in the leg with a syringe, and I died. And I remember like the vision because it was like me walking, right? And she was like walking up behind me and she went psh, into my leg and I went psh, on the floor. And I remember her, in the vision, I remember her like being like, kind of thing. Um, I had beef with that nurse in the hospital after that. Not really, but like I was dogging the fuck out of her. Um, I need a burp. Hold on. But I remember the second vision I had was I'll get to the third one that comes true. But the second one I had was of my mother, and I kind of look like her with this short hair and these glasses, I'll be honest. It was of my mother, and she didn't have like as shorter hair as me. She had like maybe like right here, and her hair was a bit like wavy, curly texture, and she was just smiling at me with her eyes, just in her little pink V-neck shirt that she always used to wear. And she was just smiling at me. That was it. That was the second vision. And then, um, and then here's a little bit of backstory, right? I had a roommate at the hospital. Sorry, I'm shivering. It's really cold. But I had a roommate back at the hospital, and um, she was like a short, buffy, like kind of woman with short hair, and this is important, all right? She was a short, buffy woman with short hair, and she looked exactly like the woman in my vision. Like, she looked exactly like the woman in my vision. And but I had let me tell you what I saw, right? The premonition was that I was walking up these stairs in an orange jumpsuit, so I'm in jail. I was walking up these stairs in an orange jumpsuit, and I'm walking behind somebody, and this person like is leading me to my room and everything. But I remember when I was like in the jail and I was like behind her, I remember looking down and then to the side and seeing sorry, I was looking down and to the side and then seeing my friend acquaintance from like third grade, and he was on this like big ass throne, and he would have like gold money surrounding him. But he was also behind bars, and he was just looking up at me, kind of like that. And it's cold. But yeah. So that was the vision. It was me walking behind somebody in an orange jumpsuit, looking down at my feet, and then looking down somewhere else to see Jerzon. That was his name from like third grade. His name was Jerzon. Um, I remember he would always steal my snacks. Anyways, but fast forward from 18 to like 22. I'm 22 years old now. 23 years old now, but 22 years old now. I was got caught up, went to jail, and when they finally released me back into Gen Pop, because I was in like single cells for a while. I was in a lot of single cells, and I was in a lot of like not jail cells. That's a different story. Um, but I remember when they finally released me back into Gen Pop, or into Gen Pop for the first time, the the person who was my roommate in the cell looked exactly like my hospital roommate. She was a short, buffy, short-haired woman, and she had like the same like kind of crazy eyes that the hospital lady had too. So I was like, I can't tell if this is the same woman or not, you know? Anyways, I remember walking behind her and she was like, "Oh, like you're gonna be my new cellmate. I'll show you the way," and blah blah blah. And like an officer is right behind me and everything. And we're walking. I walk up the stairs and we're like I get right up the stairs and I hit right here to where my bedroom is and I look down at my feet and I see my orange jumpsuit and I look up and I see the roommate that looks like my hospital mate and I look down and I see a parole officer. I don't see my friend Jazan. I see a parole officer who's kind of just looking at me like, and kind of just like, go to your fucking room already kind of thing. And I don't know, it's just a really crazy experience, y'all. Um, I've had more premonitions in not as big as that, but like I've had little premonitions while I was in jail. Hold on, let me the one I can remember that I had in jail, well there's two I can remember, but I'm gonna tell you one because the other one I kind of don't want to bring that into reality. So the one I did have was of a little girl, you know, like the little girl from Finding Nemo. Funnily enough, if you know my story about Finding Nemo, maybe that's a different story. But um, there was this, you know, the little girl in Finding Nemo that like cheeks the fish. Um, she looked like that in my vision, like very animated, very like bug-eyed and smiley and shit. And she had a purple shirt that said "Smile." Um, and like little blonde pigtails and everything. She was just a little kid as a vision, and I had that while I was in jail. While I was sleeping, I was actually sleeping in jail, but I had that while I was in jail, and I remember coming back home from jail and going through my Snapchat, and it was a bunch of Snapchats my sisters had sent me, and one of them was of my niece, and she's probably a bit younger than how the girl looked in my vision, but my niece had a purple little jumpsuit on that said "Smile," and I was like, ah. When I saw it, I was like, um, it was, you know, a little uncanny, but yeah, that's my story. So I don't know why I have these visions, and I don't really want to know. And I don't really plan on doing anything with it anyways. I don't really know how to harness that power yet. So that is it for today's video, guys. Bye bye. Hope you have a nice day, night, evening. Um, and I hope you eat your favorite food today. All right. Goodbye. Love you.